Hello, everybody. We will be starting soon. We'll be starting our engine soon. Vroom, vroom. Switching over. Hello, everybody. I decided to start the stream since Kyle was on his phone on the stream as Black Cat Pinball. We're looking around for Black Cat Pinball 1 so we can have 2 Black Cat Pinballs in our chat.
I think next week we're going to do this totally mute, and I'm just going to type all my responses in here on my phone.
No, I don't like it. It's terrible. How is everybody doing today on this wonderful 2 days before Halloween event? Good? Mute stream?
Yeah,
oh,
mute
that was
stream.
You. Why are you typing on the...
I'm not going to do that anymore, I'm sorry. It's only funny to me.
Awesome. Well, our updates for everybody is, of course, everyone's favorite, which is the 24-hour free domestic shipping for orders over $99, is PT-Turbo Bobby.
Turbo Bobby.
Now, if anyone can tell me why we named it Turbo Bobby, I might give you a high five.
Yeah, a digital high five. Aren't these the coolest pop bumper cats?
Colin Baxter, don't... Yeah, Can you put us on subtitles? He's trying to choose between listening to us and listening to his work. We'll be archived later, so you should probably not get in trouble while we do flipper rebuilds today, which is very exciting.
Or you could force everyone at your work to listen to me.
Shake and bake, Ricky Bobby. So is Turbo Bobby is oh God, what is that Will Ferrell movie called? Was it Will Ferrell?
Talladega Nights?
Is this a Talladega Nights?
No.
thing?
Hold on, I'm gonna check on my phone here. I'm pretty sure.
Midge, what does Turbo Bobby mean? I like it.
Bobby Unser, right? That's what I was looking for. He was, what I read, and I remember, my dad told me this story. Bobby Unser was like one of the best drivers when Indy500 went to using turbocharged engines in the 60s or whatever. Maybe that's what it is? I don't know. The Unser family, I mean, I know they're famous in Indy racing. So.
Bobby Unser.
I wish I was born into a racing family.
Nice.
Oh, well.
Still is, right? She comes from a racing family, or she just races cars?
Who?
Or Crystal?
Crystal's dad raced cars, yeah.
From a racing family.
Friend of the show, Steve Burtock, owns a race team. If only I fit into a Miata better, maybe I'd start doing spec Miata racing, but I'm kind of too big.
I mean, if you cut your legs like to your knees, you could use your knees for shoes, and you would be probably the right size.
I could probably hit the pedals if I only had shins, maybe like the top of my shins or something. Maybe I need a custom long Miata. No.
Yeah. So speaking of cutting off your knees, last week we had during our Q&A, we got a really fun question from Leaf Carrot, and I saved it because I wanted to ask everybody in the chat what their answers would be, you know, since Halloween's right around the corner. So the question is, if you had to be buried in a pinball machine, or as Leaf Carrot said, a pinball sarcophagus, which pinball machine would you choose? So what pinball machine would you choose to be buried in, Kyle?
Centaur, because it's super metal and demonic. So that fits my aesthetic. But I was just looking at Party Zone over
Hercules
there,
for you.
and I think it would be very comical to be buried in a sarcophagus that says Party Zone on it. So maybe that's a better answer.
That's pretty good.
What about you, Emoto?
Happy Thursday. Dragger, what pinball machine do you want to be buried in? Well, I mean, it's kind of cliche for me, but I would definitely have to be buried in a hard body, because then my body would be a hard body, and it's just fitting. But I think you need a Hercules machine, because you're not going to fit in any other pinball machine, Kyle.
Yeah, seriously. I need extra long. Or maybe like, what were those old Gottlieb games like Circus or whatever? It's like the mega wide body.
Oh, okay, wait, I changed mine. I want to be buried in a baby Pac-Man. Or Granny's Gators. Daniel said Centaur too.
Yeah,
nice.
Good on you, man. You know what I just thought of? We should stream Baby Pac-Man.
I've been asking you to do that for like 6 months.
Okay, you're right. But that would be the first time Baby Pac-Man was ever streamed. Maybe we could do it. Maybe that's what we'll do if you come down.
Awesome. All right, we'll do it. Next Marco After Hours. Turin just got his Flipper rebuild kit. Awesome. What game are you doing your Flipper rebuilds for? And while you respond to that, I guess it's a good transition. We have a couple more updates to give you, but we might as well jump into our product spotlight of the day.
Wait, but I feel like we skipped over people's answers over what they would be buried in.
Everyone, I know, we only got Daniel said Centaur. Okay. Initiative 837 said Cyclone. That's a great one. Oh, okay. Blue Continental. Bury me in a heavy metal meltdown and then cremate me and then the machine. So then there's one less heavy metal meltdown in the world.
Oh my God. Okay, delete that comment. Ban that person. That's a great game.
Yeah. Should I ban that Blue Continental? Blue Continental, I need to actually make a moderator at some point.
Gosh.
What is that? / mod? Anyone?
Or maybe I could get buried in a meteor and then be shot into space. That would be pretty cool.
Oh, Pin Daddy said, bury me in a Big Lebowski. Me and the dude for all time.
That's pretty funny. Okay, that's good. Y'all amused me.
Oh, cool. Turin, Flash Gordon. You got it's back in stock. You
got
your rebuild kit. I hope you were able to load up your card and use the free shipping for orders over $99 code.
We should be getting more Bally Flipper parts here soon, too. So everyone's been fixing Bally games lately. I like it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Didn't you say you might do a Flash Gordon on the show one day?
No. I wish I had a Flash Gordon.
Oh, maybe you just said Flash.
Yeah, I probably said Flash.
Guy, right? Yeah.
Okay. So now moving on, since I interrupted you, we could talk about Spotlight stuff. Do you want to run that?
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's run our product Spotlight. This is my favorite part. I hope it's ready.
You have to run a splash screen? You have to be quiet?
Yeah.
I'm bad at being quiet.
Wait. Is it going to play? We'll see.
I'm watching what's going on over here. Well, anyways, hey, look. Emoto wanted me to wear a hat, so I brought a hat so it can keep my hair in one place. Ooh.
Yeah, you weren't even wearing it. Keep it on. It's good. Tuck your ears behind your...
We'll put it on when I'm actually working on the game so my hair doesn't fall in my face.
Oh, hello, Wild Man 9999.
That's a lot of... There must be a lot of wild men in the world then. 9999.
Right. Roller Pinball, thank you for the subscription. That's awesome.
Hey, thanks.
Once in a row.
We appreciate that.
Drop target set for Centaur. All right, here we go.
Wow, that was a great graphic. Sorry, you caught me looking at the computer. We're going to talk about our flipper rebuild kits that we put together here at Marco. What camera should we use? Oh, that one.
Yep.
So,
hey, boo-boo.
In my hand, I have one of my favorite part numbers of all time. Sorry, it's blown out, isn't it? Woofeltron. Just a Williams Fliptronic flipper rebuild kit. And the way we put these kits together, everything you need to replace wear items on your flipper. The only thing that it does not include are flipper bushings. So if you wanted to do a real whole deal flipper rebuild kit, you would just need this, all of the mechanical parts, plus flipper bushing. These kits, we have them for a wide variety of games, and they are set up for different eras, right? So like the ones we dealt with on roller games many, many months ago, that one has different end-of-stroke switches. It has different flipper cranks links to use the compression spring as opposed to the expansion spring like these kits do. We have these for old Bally games, older Williams games, some Gottlieb games even. So this kit would be a simple kit for a game that only uses 2 flippers. Sometimes it's hard to even think of how many games use 2 flippers. Sorry, Getaway has 3 flippers. Anyways, this kit, the Woofeltron Kit, it's a left and a right flipper crank and link. You've got 2 coil stops, 2 coil sleeves. You've got an assortment of hardware just in case, which is very common to have pieces of hardware missing from your flipper base. Maybe you have a sheared off and broken coil stop screw, a 1032 cap nut. So we include all of these things, a couple 632 1/4-inch screws to replace your coil retaining brackets. You've got a handy-dandy flipper space gauge, as well as 2 end-of-stroke switches. And again, this is for a Fliptronic game, so solid-state end-of-stroke, or solid-state flipper games, such as anything newer than Addams Family. So handy, all in one bag, keeps it easy. I don't know. Do we have any comments? Questions?
You mentioned that we have it for several different
Yes. We have flipper kits for Bally games that use like the linear flippers. We have flipper kits for older Bally games that use a crank-style flipper. We have flipper rebuild sets for older Gottlieb games, electromechanical, and I think only electromechanical. A lot of the 80s and 90s games, they really only have 1 or 2 wear items. New Gottlieb flippers, excellent design. Yeah, electromechanical stuff. There's a lot of them. If you type in flipper rebuild on the website, you'll see a bunch of stuff. We even have a few flipper rebuild sets for specific games. Whitewater, for instance. Whitewater uses 2 flippers at the bottom that use the expansion springs like this. The upper flipper, here's a fun fact, the upper flipper next to Bigfoot actually uses the old style compression spring because the expansion spring gets like dangerously close to some other stuff up on that mini playfield. So we have a specific one for that game. Roadshow, right? I think Roadshow uses 3 right-hand flippers and 1 left-hand flipper. We've got one for that game. So hopefully you'll find what you're looking for.
That was awesome. That was beautiful.
There's a lot to do with flippers, though. Because there are problems, right? There are intricacies to flippers. Williams used a coil stop on the flipper that was a teeny bit shorter on the flippers that use the compression spring. So like any game up and before Addams Family, they used a coil stop that was just a teeny bit shorter, and the flippers will end up resting like at a much different angle with that with or without that coil stop. Does it make like any difference at all? 95% of the time, no, it really doesn't make a difference. I have found that you do need to use that shorter coil stop on the upper playfield on Swords of Fury, though. If you do not use that shorter coil stop, the flipper you can't backhand the furthest right target. Does anyone have a Swords of Fury? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, Carrie Hardy's doing a big Swords of Fury, what is it?
The hardtop thing, right?
Yeah.
That's a great game.
Indypins asked, or actually Daniel asked, adjusting tool for the flippers also included. So the flipper gauge tool comes in all of them, right, Kyle?
Yeah, any Williams flipper rebuild set will have the this super sweet custom Marco flipper gauge. The games, like when they were new, they actually came with them. In a new Williams game, there was a little goodie bag, kind of like the Stern games have nowadays, right, with extra plastics. But in the Williams game, they had like one slingshot link, one flipper link and shaft, and they had that tool also to help reset those things. So it's a handy tool.
Yeah, absolutely. And Indypin said, I was thinking about coils. They really can't go bad, can they? The wires can't open. So when is a coil isn't doing the job, it's probably the sleeve. What do you think?
A coil can go bad, but usually when a coil goes bad, it's the fault of something else, right? So you'll have a switch stuck on, or I mean, they can go bad, but rarely, a lot of the time, the coil isn't the problem you're looking for. If you have a game that works and you're trying to spruce it up, right? Make it a little faster, a little slicker. Yeah, coil sleeves are definitely what you're going to want to replace. All that nasty black dust you get from touching any of this stuff, that black dust comes into being from the shaft of any electromagnetic device hitting the stop and creating dirt, right? And sorry, my brain is totally not firing on all cylinders right now.
Flipper piece.
Since the shaft rides inside the sleeve, all that dust builds up in the sleeve, so you get a lot of friction from having that nasty dust into the sleeve. So replace the sleeve, or clean the shaft, and you'll be fine, most times.
Yep. And APB, who is the coil man, he says EOS switches can be trouble on flipper mechs too, as well as flipper buttons on earlier games. All stuff to check when you think a coil has gone bad.
Yeah.
So it's maybe not the coil. Do your flipper rebuild first, right?
Absolutely, like always. Coils, when a coil's bad, most of the time it will be very apparent. It'll be super burnt. It'll be melted. You can't get things out of it because it's swollen. I wish I had an example of a really bad coil in here, but I can't really see one. But yeah, generally, the coil is generally fine. A lot of people want to be like, well, it doesn't work, so I'm going to replace the thing I don't understand the most, and the coil gets replaced first, and generally it's not the problem. It can be, but generally it isn't. In some instances, you will have, here, let's use before we jump in, let's go for like a little teeny lesson really quick. Let me grab a Williams flipper coil out of my box here.
Oh yeah, look. We have a cool shot of Kyle going through his toolbox.
Can you switch to the small camera?
Yeah.
So the way these guys work, right, I'm not going to explain how a coil works, but one common problem with a coil that will not be super apparent is when the actual windings, right, the wires that exist inside the coil, sometimes these things can, do we see this teeny little red one here?
Hold on.
Can we lose the camera? Here, I'll come up to the big one while you try to figure that out.
Oh, there it is.
It came back up?
No.
Nope.
It's okay. You're good where you are. What is happening?
Okay. Hold on. Sorry, everyone. So you've got the wires that exist in the coil, right? They run out on the bottom part of the bobbin and then wrap around these lugs. And this is what we solder to. What can happen sometimes is these wires will break. And very commonly it is this one. This is the hold wire here. This is the circuit that keeps the flipper up. And it will come unsoldered here, or it will break right here. So you can have an instance where a coil might not work without it being burned. So when in doubt, you can always double check and make sure all these wires are attached if you're messing with a finicky coil. So I figured I'd bring that up before someone clipped it and said, actually, coils can go bad, and here's why. So let's get to work.
I know. I'm like, where are you?
I'm putting my stuff away.
I see you. I see you, Kyle.
So let's use the small camera. Is there any questions off of that tirade that I just gave?
Good afternoon, TurboGrafx 7.
Yo.
Mark Friedberg on Facebook says, just got a rare Game of Thrones LE. Ooh, and he's shopping on our site for it. That's awesome.
Nice.
Mark, just as a friendly reminder, you're actually a first-time viewer, so that's awesome. We got you watching our show. We do pinball repairs and maintenance and all sorts of cool pinball tips. However, we are slowly migrating off of Facebook and YouTube. So right now we're streaming on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube, but soon we will just solely be on Twitch. So if you don't mind to also take a second for anyone that is on those other channels to come on over to Twitch, twitch.tv/Marco Pinball. Sign up with an account. It's absolutely free. If you follow us, you'll get notifications on when we go live, and you'll get to interact and do cool stuff like put up the Kyle emoji.
Oh boy.
Or the always be tightening bent screwdriver emoji. You can unlock that with the channel points. There's lots of interactivity when it comes to Twitch. So
yes, and
again,
you'll catch me doing other Facebook streams too. So
head on over to Twitch. Let's see.
Where did I leave one part?
There's at least 11 of you. I need to come.
11 of who?
Twitch. That are watching on Facebook and YouTube. And also, too, get on the Twitch. There's so many awesome people streaming pinball now. So any hours of the day, you can click on the pinball category, and someone is bound to be streaming something.
And it's not just pinball. There's a lot of really cool stuff on Twitch. So
yeah, that's true. You can go way outside of pinball, and Twitch is the new Netflix.
Right?
I don't know if I'll. Yeah, I'll just. Yes, definitely.
Okay, back to flippers.
Back to school. Okay.
This game it had a really blown out flipper base. We're missing one of these riveted in, or attached nut. What would I call it? Like, whatever, a fixed nut on the back of the plate. So the way that this thing was affixed was someone put the screw, the Allen head cap screw, through here and then just put a nut on the back. Is that fine? Yes, if you need to get the game working. But again, right now we're here to fix problems, not continue with Band-Aids. So we are going to be replacing this flipper base. We cannot just re-tap this. If we had a stripped out screw for like the coil retaining bracket, if we had a stripped out screw, I mean, that's pretty much it on this assembly. We could re-tap it, maybe, and maybe we'd have some good tough threads to thread these screws into. But this is important. This takes a beating. If this thing gets screwed up, we can have flipper problems, and we don't want that. So this is a relatively inexpensive part. We are going to replace it. I've got a new flipper base plate here. They are oriented left and right with these Williams games, so you do need to make sure you get the correct one. On the more modern versions, they do have this plate, or what would I call it? I mean, this is where the end of stroke switch mounts to. This is affixed with screws, where the old ones are, I don't know, spot welded on, I guess. This thing also looks like it has glue on it. This flipper bushing, it is not going to be reused. So, going to very quickly install a new flipper bushing into this base. These are attached with nuts on the other side. I am going to be using new hardware because why not? And I could salvage this old hardware if it's still good. So these guys attach in through here. Actually, this part isn't threaded, is it? No, it is threaded. These things are double tight though. The plate is actually threaded, so these screws do get tightened in through the plate, but then they are also anchored with a nut on the back. Okay. We're not tightening things down too hard, right? We're getting them all snug, and then we will kind of go in like a car wheel, right? And snug, snug, snug. Then we'll throw the nuts on the back. This is, again, it's like, I have to stress, it's like, if this was in an arcade and I was trying to get it working and I may not have had this part or I didn't have the time, maybe there was a more pressing issue, it is okay to put a nut on the back of these things, but don't leave it like that. That's not, you lose style points for that.
IndyPins asked, no Loctite here?
No, you don't need Loctite for this sort of stuff. Honestly, I don't recommend using Loctite on any of this stuff, just because it does make it a pain to get it apart again. These are meant to be, you know, serviceable. What I do want to try, someone said use some clear nail polish.
Oh, yeah.
Clear nail polish will give it like a teeny bit of adhesion, but it will also not like do what Loctite does, which is keep things in place. So I might give that a shot sometime.
That's a good hack. Yeah, we should see how well it works.
But the thing is, like, right, with new parts and new hardware, there's really no reason to use a tightening or, you know, a chemical agent to keep things tight. These threads are strong. They're going to hold their torque. I'm going to remove this coil retaining plate, just so people don't say, Kyle, you're being lazy. I'm going to clean this. I'm just going to rub it down. And it's not really going to clean up, but whatever. It's a flipper part.
Nice. TV Chasers asked, do you ever do EM repair streams? Soon.
Yeah, I will be soon.
Yeah, it's on the list.
I really like working on electromechanical games, but I really like working on them like at my own pace, because I do my troubleshooting is a little bit slower on electromechanical games.
Yeah, and also TV Chasers, if you haven't heard of Fun with Pinball's EM Repair School, they do a seminar like once a month. It's a live stream.
It's tomorrow.
And you
also.
sign up. It's completely free. It's what?
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I might have time to watch it.
I think I signed up. And yeah, so if you go to funwithpinball.com and look for their EM repair stream, you can sign up, and it's awesome. You learn how to read schematics, which is very, very important for EM repair work, I've learned, and a lot of other cool tips and tricks. And if you have a game that is not working, you can sign up under that bracket. And if you have a webcam or, you know, some way to connect video on, you can actually show everyone your problem, and they help service your issue right over the video screen. It's amazing.
Yeah, and the people that are there to help you know a lot. So they're very
thanks for sharing that link, Pez.
Competent and quick at fixing issues. So I can't recommend it enough. I will be doing it soon. I've got a Grand Prix at home that needs love. But also, some of my electromechanical games here have teeny issues because I yanked them out of an arcade, put them on a shipping pallet, and then shipped them to South Carolina, and I just have not touched them since. So some of them need a little love.
TV Chasers, definitely sign up as I forget how they classify it, but as a person with a game with an issue. And then you type in what your issue is, and they might select you.
A person with a problem game. Okay, while this camera's on the small screen, I'm going to reposition it to the game. We are going to install a flipper from basically scratch.
Look at him walk in there. Awesome. Let's see. Let's follow up with a chat. Oh, Adams40 Kyle asked, why doesn't Marco include the plastic bushings with their kits? I always forget and have to go back and reorder.
You know, I honestly don't know why we don't, but I'm going to, the reason most likely is because you don't need to change it every time you rebuild the flipper, right? It really isn't something that needs to be changed unless it's bad. Generally, if a flipper's put together right, the bushing won't need to be changed as often as the rest of the mechanical pieces will, so.
Right. When I got my flipper rebuild kit, I was missing a plastic bushing, but then I scoured the bottom of my cabinet and I found it. And I just
You were missing.
back on there.
Oh wait, for your hard body.
Oh, maybe I'm talking about the wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, because your game uses the nyliners, the little.
Oh yeah, the 9-liners. That's what I was thinking. 9-liner is plastic, right?
Yeah, they are. But the fella that was asking the question was talking about the actual bushing. So,
That
and
one.
again,
That doesn't come with it. Oh,
no,
yeah.
the flipper bushings do not come with the flipper rebuild sets. Because again, look, this one's crummy and old, but the thing isn't broken. It's still doing its job. The way I test these generally is put the flipper shaft in or get a screwdriver
Yeah.
and bend it, and you'll usually see that they start separating around here. This starts to lift. So just keep them on hand, but you're not hurting anything, but you're not doing any great service by changing it every single time, right? Okay.
That's fair. Cool. Just clean it up.
All right, I've got 2 cameras, and since this is like up close and personal, due to physical distancing stuffs, I want to make sure I'm doing all the camera work today. So I apologize in advance because I'm bad at it. So we are going
let's
to.
get.
What's up?
I'm looking for your. Okay, never mind. You're good.
Yeah, you guys
Everyone's
got
talking about some of our kits come with bushings.
some
some
kits
of them
do.
don't.
Well, the most commonly sold kit is the Williams flipper rebuild kits, the Fliptronic kits, and those do not.
Oh, you're gonna get a wedgie
Why?
for something. You said something about a bushing, and that means one day you will get a wedgie from Bad Out of Hell.
So use your torque sensors in your fingers when you're installing these things. These are attached to the playfield using a number 8 by 1/2 inch hex head sheet metal screw. So when you're installing these things, make sure that everything is tight and you're able to tighten these things down sufficiently. If you do not have enough grip, if these holes have started to blow out, you're going to want to address that now while you have the ability to. Sometimes if I'm feeling a little lazy and we have a blown out playfield screw on like a device, right? Like maybe this up kicker or something like that, I will size up the number 6 by 1/2 inch screw to a number 8 if the bracket allows for it, instead of filling the hole with a dowel and glue. In this case, we can't do that because these are held to the playfield using a number 8 screw. So do not leave things loose.
Always be tightening. We
Always
have
be
an emote
tightening.
for that.
I forgot. That's my favorite slogan that I almost invented. So I'm going to tighten. Again, I like to use the star pattern thing for cars a lot of the time to make sure things are even. That tightens down nicely. That tightens down nicely. So does that one. And again, we're not trying to
Nice.
use like
Winter's fun, Game
He-Man
of
torque
Thrones.
on this stuff. It's just a matter of getting it to snug up firmly.
Our camera kind of went out of focus, and I don't think that's something I can fix.
Let me manual focus since it's going to kind of stay here like this for a while. Sorry, everybody.
Oh, you're breaking the fourth wall. Oh my gosh, I'm not ready for
Everyone's cool enough
Oh
with
god,
us.
it's Kyle's butt. What are we gonna do? Look at that wide shot. Doesn't Kyle look great in a hat, everybody?
Thanks, maybe. I don't think
That's
the
okay.
focus wants to adjust it all.
Try just going like in and out a little bit.
Yeah, hold on. Ah.
Yeah, use toothpicks to fill in holes in a pinch.
Yes.
What was it? TJ Buyer out in the Bay Area in California was talking about using those cocktail toothpicks with the little umbrellas.
Oh yeah.
Because he was at a bar.
When you're in a
Some
bar.
people recommend it using wooden chopsticks, like for the bigger holes. You could use a wooden chopstick, so you don't have to get.
What I do
12
is I just
toothpicks.
keep a 3/16 dowel around. That's generally,
Piece
I don't know what camera's even on. I think the Sony cam's going to be okay. I keep like a section of dowel in my toolbox with me just in case. But Yeah, when I'm in a bar, a toothpick really works wonders. Chopsticks, I've started saving chopsticks that I get from takeout. That's a great one too.
Don't say that. Don't ever say that to him, Steve Burdock.
What?
Trying to get him to wear a hat. Nothing.
I don't get to hear. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, hat giveaway. We should do a hat giveaway on the stream today.
Yeah, Kyle's wearing a hat, so now everyone else needs a hat, right?
Everyone wants a hat because Kyle's wearing a hat.
Wow, I'm finally a fashion icon. Oh, one thing I didn't transfer over is the little bumper plug.
Let's get Blue Continental. Can you think of a good trivia question? And whoever gets it right first, we'll send them a hat today.
Make sure your game has these, the little bumper plugs that go into the back of the flipper base.
Oh, where do those go?
Right here. This is where like the crank and link rest. The little bumpers keep everything safe and happy. So I forgot to take the old one out and put it into the new housing. I'm gonna, actually, you know what? This one's kind of loosey-goosey. I got some new ones just in case. These are good to have around.
Do they fall out easily after a while? Is that
this one, like, again, 30-plus-year-old one doesn't want to go into this brand new flipper base and stay in very nice. So they don't fall out very often, but you want to make sure they're still there. Okay, let's see. This is the left side crank. I always tell the left side because when I look at them this way and you have the switch actuator pointing away from your body, if it is on the left side, that means it's a left side crank.
Nice.
Let's see. Actually, I want to put the end of stroke switch on first. This switch, not original, but it will do just fine. Hold on one sec. I need to see where my nut plate went. Or did this not have it? I think this thing was kind of in pieces when we took it apart. I am using my magnetic bowl, but I am missing a small piece of hardware right now. Uh-oh. Haha, we've been foiled. Okay. Sorry, everyone. Kyle needs to go dig through his box of parts here, so give me 1 second.
For the giveaway trivia, Winter is coming, said, first place, free hat. Second place, free hat. Third place, steak knives. We should have Margot branded steak knives. I can get behind
Can we
that.
get the Marco branded koozies first? Or the PinTech branded koozies?
Yes.
That's so cool.
And the bottle openers, magnetic bottle openers.
See, that would be extra cool too. Wow, where did this thing go? Now I'm like freaking out because I might not have one. This will work. Okay. Oh wait, no, that's fine. Let's see if this will work. What I was freaking out about is there's like a nut plate that goes on the back to hold these screws in place. Oh, man, I'm dumb. I did the smart thing and I tightened it all back together. It was there the whole time.
Yeah, if we ever do show's turn, we'll definitely have Marco branded hand sanitizers. Or sorry, when shows become a thing again.
You know what we should do is we should do PinTech like really live. So we take a broken game at the pinball show and then
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Kyle tries
We're
to
definitely
fix
going
it.
to do that. We'll just bring our streaming rig to wherever that game is broken and shoot it. Maybe that'll be in the way. But yeah, we'll take someone's game at the show and fix it right there. That would be good.
That would be hilarious.
So did you find the part you were looking for, or are you MacGyvering it? The chat wants to know.
No, I'm glad you didn't pay attention, because now I'm going to pretend like, oh yeah, I just found it. No, it was all screwed together. I found it on the switch itself.
Yes,
Okay.
Marco bottle openers.
I used to get angry at people. There were people that would bring their games to the shows in California that were broken because they knew that me and other people would fix them, because having a game on the floor broken is bad.
So can you explain to us what you're doing right now? You're installing the
I'm tightening
switch?
the end of stroke switch on, and what I was missing was the plate that goes on the back that allows the screws to thread into the whatchamacallit, that allows them to tighten. It's like a nut kind of for a coarse thread screw.
Nice. And for that switch, does it have to be a particular orientation? Like, if you flip it backwards, like, how do you know which way is the front and which way is the back? That way,
I screwed that up a little bit, and I had to catch myself there. The end of stroke switches on a WPC game. Sorry, let me rephrase that. The end of stroke switches on a Fliptronic game, games that use the solid state flippers. Oh, here I can talk to a camera. Hey, look at that hat. Man, I'm cool.
Look at that drop ceiling.
They use a normally open end of stroke switch that does not carry current, right? The end of stroke switches on older games, they complete the circuit that allows the high-powered side of the coil to flip. And then opening it puts the high-resistance side of the coil into the circuit as well. These games, this is just a switch, just like any other pinball game has, right? Put the other camera back up on the screen, Emoto, if you would. Or I could use, okay. So what this does is when the flipper flips and it closes this switch, that lets the computer know that the flipper has completed its stroke. If this thing was gone, the computer is smart enough to be able to just turn the holding voltage onto the coil. So even if it did not have an end of stroke switch, it would still hold without burning the coil up. But what this does allow the game to do is sense when the flipper opens, right? So follow me here. The game knows that the flipper is closed right now. If you have a ball come down and hit the flipper, what would happen if the end of stroke switch wasn't working, the game would have no idea that the flipper has moved. So it would still be holding it with that low power, and the flipper would collapse. Where if we had a working system, the way it is supposed to work, the flipper is up, you're in a multi-ball, and the ball comes down and slams against the flipper, the switch opens, and then it repowers it on the high side. This happens so fast that you wouldn't know, you wouldn't be able to tell, you wouldn't be able to see. But it allows you to have it allows the flipper to know when it's changed states, to repower and keep itself up.
That makes sense.
I think I wrote that a lot more eloquently in an article that I wrote for the website a couple months ago. So maybe check that out if that didn't make sense. But that's one thing you'll notice. I see that a lot of newbies on the Facebook group or whatever. They'll be like, my end of stroke switch is not hooked up on my, whatever, insert WPC game here. It's like, but it still works. Like, what's up with that? And that's the reason. Data East had that problem when they went to a solid-state flipper. They introduced a solid-state flipper system that had no end-of-stroke switch. So there's like 3 or 4 games that use that system, and when you're in a multi-ball, if the ball hits the flipper, it just collapses and it drains. So it's frustrating.
Makes sense. Yeah. I said, very good information, Kyle. Thank you.
Hey, no problem.
I agree. Kyle, before you get into more information, can you zoom out that camera a little bit? The focus keeps kind of being all wonky.
Is it goofing up? Let me try this really quick too, y'all.
I would say not be zoomed in so much. And then like, yeah, your angle is kind of your big old hands getting in the way.
Yeah, I think I should switch to the smaller camera, but I also just raised the tripod up like 6-7 inches.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty nice.
that's a little bit better.
Let me zoom in on it. Yeah, you're good. You hold that so we can.
Okay, cool.
And I'll zoom in.
So I'm not going to put the flipper shaft, the flipper bat into the game right now, just because the top of the playfield is like absolutely filthy. So I want to wait to put those nice new clean parts into the game. Once we're at, I like to call it like clean stage, right? Where we can keep those new clean parts looking fresh and don't get nasty, dirty Novus or wax or dirt all over the nice clean white parts. If you do want to make sure when you're reinstalling your flipper, the coil stop screws, these Allen cap head screws, you want to make sure you do have a split washer like this, a lock washer. Don't install it without it. I mean, you can, but it's better practice to have it there. It keeps these things nice and snug and they don't back out.
Nice.
So these do require some torque. Not tons of torque, but it does require torque. I'm going to switch from using my this Allen driver to a T-handle. This is a 5/32 T-handle Allen wrench. And this allows me to get a bit more torque on this to keep it solid. Coil orientation. This is something people ask about pretty often. If you can, always try to orient your coils this way, with the bottom of the bobbin and the diodes facing away from the coil stop. Williams found by changing the orientation of this coil, you would end up breaking a lot less diodes on the flipper coil, which can cause problems, right? So if at all possible, if you have the wiring length or if you want to undertake a small project, extend the harness of your whatever game it might not be working in and try to orient the coil this way. It's
nice.
Good for the game.
It's a good tip.
Rinse and repeat. We'll move on to the next one. This game is rough, so I am expecting that this flipper base is going to fail and I'm going to laugh and we'll have to take it off, but let's see what happens. When you're in here, I like to wipe things off, make it clean. I did test this flipper bushing last week and it is not broken, so we are going to run with it. Still got a spring. Nice. All this is handy dandy. Let's go get some flipper parts and put it back together. This is probably my favorite flipper to work on. They're very simple and straightforward, and you know, the adjustment is easy and quick, and they always perform very well. This system and Stern's current system are really, really wonderful. But I also really like the whatchamacallits, the Bally linear flippers, and I know most people hate those things. So we did that on Lady Luck.
That was a fun show.
That was a long time ago.
Adams asked, do you change just the coil stops and coil sleeves to prolong the life of the flippers?
Rules on changing coil stops. If you're going to change the stop, you should change the shaft as well. They wear together. So if you put a new coil, let me see if I can find an example of a really goofed up plunger. I want to find one that has a different shape, but they wear together, right? So I'll move over to this camera. Sometimes when they wear, they'll become concave or convexed, and they mate, right? So they're flat for a while, and then a shape starts to happen. So what can happen is if you put a new stop in, and you've got a flipper, like a plunger that looks like this, weird things can happen. You break stops, it's just bad. It's always the best practice to replace both of them at the same time. Long story short, coil sleeves are kind of like just that's a quick and easy thing you can do. If you have a game that really gets high plays, you can replace the sleeves and freshen it up a little bit. But there is the owner of Marco went to a Williams service school at one point, and Williams did put a number on flipper lifespan, right? They said that every 500,000 flips, a flipper should be rebuilt to retain its, like, you know, perfect flipping potential. I don't know. I mean, that does seem accurate, but I know that I have games that have lasted longer than that. That's the fun thing about pinball, is there's lots of variables that can change, but yeah, best practice, replace those things together. Sorry, that's a long answer for an easy question, but all right.
Nice.
We're going to put this coil stop on. This is, again, a lot of the adjustment here, the parts that actually do take a little bit of you know, specialist knowledge, if you will, are in adjusting the flipper and getting the actual flipper, like, free play up and down against the bushing, the thing that little flipper gauge is for. That's kind of the most technical part of doing this job. But we won't be doing that today. That'll be much later once we get the game clean.
Right, because it's kind of like fine-tune adjusting at that point.
Yeah, it's just, you know, there's two adjustments, right? We want to make sure that we have enough free play up and down so we're not binding up against the bushing, but we also want to make sure we get the flipper angle set just right so there's no annoying hops when it comes off of the in-lane guides or whatever. All right.
Nice.
Generally, like when I get a new pinball game, the first thing I do is generally rebuild the flippers. It's just, you know, it gives you a baseline. I'll go into a game and I'll assess the health, make sure it's all happy, and then usually we'll start with like new flipper parts because that's the most important part of the game between you and the pinball machine, right? Is like good response with the flips.
It in. While you're tightening, always be tightening, Roller Pinball asked, if your flipper doesn't bounce pass, is that a sign that the bushing might be bad? Mine hits the flipper and rolls, but hardly ever bounces to the other flipper.
Probably not. I mean, that's a hard question to answer. I'm assuming by bounce pass, we're talking like the, you know, the dead flip, right?
Yeah.
What generally, I mean, there's so many things about that. Physics are involved, right? The angle and the speed at which the ball is traveling, the age of the rubber. There could be a lot of things. You could have you could have crummy old rubber that's not bouncy anymore. You could have a broken flipper bat. That's really common to have them cracked. I don't think that would necessarily be a bushing issue. Let's see. We readjust this camera here because we're going to work on this flipper is very special. Does that zoom okay?
What makes this flipper so special, Kyle?
Look at that.
Oh, that is nice.
That moves so much.
Oh no, that's not nice.
Right, so this is an exaggeratedly very bad case of a massively worn flipper linkage, right? The small amounts, like something that you could even say like half or 3/4 of this, if you had like only 1/4 as little movement as this thing has, you would have a really crummy flipper. Because what happens, right, when this thing energizes, the plunger is pulled in. The plunger has to overcome every teeny bit of free play that exists before it starts moving the flipper, which tends to make things extraordinarily weak and you have a bad playing experience. So what it looks like here,
yeah,
I mean, this thing's just old. I don't know. Let's take it apart and see. That's what the fun part is, the removal and the autopsy, if you will. This thing is also missing a coil stop screw, hopefully because it is not stripped or missing, but we'll see.
Nice, so it's pulling it off.
That one's really bad. I haven't seen a flipper link like that in a long time. This one will have a good example of a super worn out shaft and stop though too. Oh yeah, that one's really bad. Okay, cool. Let me get this thing off.
MGM Studio said you can drive a truck through that link.
Seriously?
Ooh, look how dirty it is. Are you going back to your bench? No, you're staying here.
No, I just had to go grab a wrench. Generally, I'll crank on these things and loosen them up when they're still, the coil and the stop is still in, but whatever.
Yeah, APV says, interesting to have a newer coil installed on a blown out mech.
I know, right? This game, and that's the thing, I've gotten so many pinball games for basically free, and they all mostly work just fine. It's just that people, they either want to sell them when the flippers don't work, or that's when I get the service call, right? The whole game won't be working, and just the flippers stop working, and they're like, oh, the game's fine, it just needs the flippers rebuilt, and you get there, and it's like in this kind of condition. You're like, oh boy. This is going to be an all-day service call, or this is totally, I need to come back for this, because this is bad. There's a ton of metal shavings. Oh, that's funny.
Oof, got it out.
I'm gonna.
Adams40 asked, do you rebuild after a certain amount of games, or just when they become weak?
I don't.
Like
I just do it when they seem weak. But I'm also, I'm not a super anal home collector. I'm an operator for the most part, so I rebuild them when they start feeling sluggish on location.
And also when you first get a game.
Yes, generally when I first get a game too. Hey, switch to the small camera, will you?
Yeah.
I just think this is funny. You see all that like super magnetized metal particles on those screw heads?
Oh, cool. I mean, not cool, but like fascinating.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal. I vacuumed out the bottom of the cabinet, but I'm sure that right around there was a massive pile of metal shavings. Let's stay at the bench really quick, and let's dissect a Williams flipper, crank, and link really fast.
Cool.
We'll see why this one is so gross and grody.
So you got your C920 up.
Almost. There you go. I think it's like, this is another thing I try to tell customers a lot too when I'm doing service, is that a pinball machine isn't really like a car, right? Where you have like a maintenance schedule, right? It's like, oh, well, if you don't bring your pinball machine in for service after 1,000 games, you're sure going to be sorry. It's like a lot of things in pinball, since it is physical, and since it is, relatively random, right? Things can break and wear out in different time frames. So.
Oh, IndyPin says every 10,000 flips.
Yeah, that's being super anal.
They also asked, did you say the plunger rod was bad? Can you show that? And that's what you're about to show us.
Yeah, let's show that up. Let me get the coil stop too.
And then, yeah, that EOS switch was all like...
When someone was asking about maybe just replacing the stop, like, if you have a relatively clean game, that might be okay. But can you see the concave in this?
Yes.
Does that come through at all?
It does a little bit.
Compared to a brand new unit, which is not concave whatsoever?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good comparison.
So what it is, right, with a new unit, you've got a nice flat surface here, a nice flat surface here, and they mate, and they will wear together this way. They are a match made in heaven. They're going to stick this way until they rip themselves apart, like this thing has. But that's the thing, is if we were to put, you see how these mate together very nicely also? Even though it's extraordinarily worn out, these things are a perfect fit. If you were to put a nice flat new stop in here, it would wear very oddly. And one thing you can do, and this is something you have to do when you can't get parts or if you don't have parts, right? You get like a big lip. It's very sharp on this one. Ow. But this thing will kind of mushroom over, and that is what causes sluggish flipper performance. So The combination of, if you needed to get something like this done, or if there was a part that was unavailable, or if you didn't have the part and you're at the end of your service call and the guy's like, hey, I've got this Zachariah Devil Riders and can you work on it? And like, oh, crap. One quick and dirty thing you can do is take a file to the end of your flipper plunger like this and create a little bevel back in here, get rid of that mushroom out bit. And then sometimes you will be able to replace it with a new coil stop and have decent flipper performance. What you will end up doing, though, is if this was a little more worn out, the length difference can really make a difference, too. Let me see if either of these are that profound. They're not. Sometimes you'll get coil stops that are so worn out that when you butt them up against a brand new one, they're like a millimeter shorter. It's crazy. This game is ill-maintained, but it's not totally busted. Let's take this thing apart and see what went wrong. This is a new unit. This is assembled nice, correctly. We've got the elastic lock nut, a washer. Then there is a bushing that goes in between the bolt and inside the opening for this flipper link. Then you've got another washer and the end of the cap head screw. This thing is a bit of an arts and crafts project. We've got an elastic lock nut, then a split lock washer, and then a very, very large washer, and then nothing, and the end of the screw. Let's take this apart. This is funny. I like good destruction on pinball. It's always fun. And I guess it's also job security, but see, why did
But we're just taking apart for scientific exploration, not to actually use any of these parts, right?
No, absolutely not. All this is going to go straight to the garbage. Maybe I'll save the nut.
We can make art with it. Yeah. We need it for art.
Wow.
Dirty.
That thing ain't round anymore.
Hmm.
So this thing does still have the bushing. A lot of times, I was thinking that this was worn this way because this small bushing that fits inside here was missing. And that can cause, what that does is, this is a number 10, I think, screw. I mean, look at all that play.
Right.
So this bushing keeps this thing nice and tight. You don't get a ton of play in here. But I don't know, I think maybe it was too loose or they assembled it with the wrong, without washers, and it just bore a giant hole. So yeah, that's some carnage. That's real carnage.
But now you have this nice, beautiful new flipper mech.
Ta-da!
It's so shiny. And now your dirty hands are getting it dirty.
Yeah, I'm making it worse. Another way you can tell really old flipper cranks from modern or reproduction ones is when they have a cap screw. You have a cap screw and a nut, and you had to use two tools to tighten them. Modern reproductions, or like all the ones we sell and have been selling for quite some time, they have like this Pac-Man shaped washer that is part of this screw. So this keeps this thing from turning when you are tightening or loosening. If you have a flipper crank that does not have something like this, it is probably as old as the game is. That's like a real original Williams part. It's time to change that out. This one's pretty bad. I might save this to send it to a customer to say, just as a surprise, or a prize. This is a good prize. I had a whole wall of...
Does anybody in our chat want this broken flipper mech as your prize?
Yeah, that's what you get from our channel. Other channels get like subscriber-only content, and this and that. Now I'll send you broken pinball parts.
Oh, cool. Winter is Coming asked, what are these points popping up for?
Points?
I know. I'm lost.
Are we talking
The
about...
end of stroke actuator? What are...
Let's switch back over to that big camera while you answer that question. I have no idea what we're talking about here.
Yeah. Oh, if you autograph it, Indie Pins might want it.
Ha! Okay. I'm going to test this bushing. I can't get the flipper bat out unless I remove the ball habit trail above it. So I'll just assemble it with it in here for now. But what I'm doing is I'm just pulling the flipper bat on all corners and seeing if I could get the bushing to raise or lower. This one's still tight, not broken, so we're not going to change it. I am going to wipe away all of these fun little magnetic metal shavings. We'll clean our coil.
Oh my gosh.
Hey.
They're talking about channel points. Yeah, you can use channel points. You get channel points. Voo, how do you get channel points? I know you can get channel points and then you can use them to spend them on unlocking our cool emotes. No, you cannot use channel points to get new flipper parts.
You can use channel points to get my old blown out flipper parts if you want.
Really? I don't think we're set up to do that yet.
Go. I don't know. I'm just trying to make it.
Yeah, see, Woo uses channel points to highlight his message. It says, "I want to be special," and he is special.
Now you have to make sure to read it. Oh, check it out.
I guess every time you chat, you get a point or something. What are we checking out?
This coil sleeve is brand new, the one that came out of here, and
nice,
this
it
coil
was a brand new coil.
Was handmade by APB Enterprises of Huntley, Illinois.
Oh, he's in our chat.
Yeah. So what I think happened here is someone had no idea what was going on, and they decided, well, the flipper don't work, so we're going to replace the coil. So someone got a new coil and a coil sleeve and left that piece of garbage actuating the flipper. I can almost guarantee you that's what happened, since everything is so new. I'm going to test the threads on both of these coil stop. Ooh, yeah, that's not good. Oh, yeah, that's very broken off. We might be able to extract it. Okay, this is maybe going to be the end point because, let's see, how much time do we have? Where are we at?
You better hurry. Oh,
this is real pinball repair. This isn't like, you know, Hollywood staging and stuff. We just found another problem. We have a broken off coil stop screw inside the base here. So we have to take it off.
So it's like, how did that happen? Oh, so it's just kind of hidden under there?
Yeah, it's broken off inside the the threads. So what we have to do, there's no way around it. I mean, unless it's broken off on top, and you might be able to get a pair of vice grips around it to remove it. But I've always learned that I'm lazy, and I've learned that doing things the long way can sometimes actually be the fast way. So we're just going to remove this, and we're going to very quickly assess if we can remove and extract that old broken bolt, or if we are just going to replace the flipper base altogether. On location, if I was working on someone else's games, or if I was, again, working by the hour and I was working on a customer's game, in this case, what I would probably do is just install a new flipper base and then take the old one back and sell it to them for half price, and then try to extract it and hope that I could reuse this at some point. This can be.
Daniel says you have to change the base plate.
What's happened?
Daniel says you have to change the base plate.
I should, right? But we might be able to fix it if we can extract the nub of the screw. But here's where the problem is it's like my time is worth money, and me sitting there with some vice grips might not be worth my time to do. You know what I mean? So
where's the broken screw?
I can extract that. That thing is sticking out really far. So.
Nice.
Let me go get my screwdriver. We can take the end of stroke switch off, and I can show you how we would try to attempt doing something like this. If it doesn't thread through, then we just wasted a bunch of time. So this is where, again, when I'm working by the hour, and the more service I can do in a day, the more money I make. Again, this probably wouldn't be in your best interest. You just want to get a new part, throw it in there, and then try to fix it, have a spare. But for the sake of learning, let's give it a shot.
Yeah, sounds fair. Oh, nice. Vernicius, welcome to our stream.
This end of stroke switch kind of sucks too.
I love that game. Yeah, that end of, how does it even get like that? Is it? How did it get like twisted up? I don't understand.
This isn't the right switch. Someone has replaced all of these at some point, and it looks like someone cut this one. I'm gonna replace this when I put it all the way back together.
I hope so.
Let's switch to the small camera. Okay, so what we have is I found that I was only able to thread this screw into this hole like 2 turns. And that's because like half of another screw is still living inside.
Oh yeah.
We could have damaged threads. Like Daniel said, this could just be an exercise in futility, but we will try to extract the screw. I'm going to use my small vice grips. These are one of my favorite tools in my box. They are small, and they also have an angled jaw, which makes them useful.
Did you have to angle that jaw yourself?
No, this one came pre-angled.
Nice. Kyle likes to angle.
Actually, I'm going to try using the big crunchy guys up front.
Looks like an alligator. Yay, Winter is coming as Hooked. We brought him in from Facebook. Now he's Twitch professional.
Hey.
And yes, so every week, we stream every week for PinTech. And we put a little promo banner on our website on marcospecialties.com, marcopinball.com, that says what you can look forward to for each episode. So the next several episodes, we will be working specifically on Indy500, and we are just trying to get this game up and running. So we're doing the flipper rebuilds. There's slingshots that need work on. There's some board work that needs to happen. Complete teardown, how to clean it, get it all nice and shiny for Mr. Bear Talk.
Yeah, so. Emoto made me plan what we were doing on this thing. Anyways, this thing's super loose, so I might not even need these anymore. I think we broke it really quick.
Oh, that's good then, right?
Ow.
Oh, there it goes.
So that came out. It looks clean. We could hit it with a tap and clean the threads out, but I think we're going to be okay. I will test thread in both sides. It's getting a little tight, but it also has never used these threads before. There we go. Yeah, I think this will be okay. So the problem is when we get these things, and if I was trying to do this, and imagine this thing is maybe 1/4 of an inch, a couple millimeters.
Down.
Imagine if this was like half this size. You probably can't even see it. Imagine if this thing was half this size, right?
It's like a little baby tooth.
Like that's when they become problematic. When you just really want to get them out and you know you might be able to, and you end up wasting way more time than it would cost just to get a new flipper base. Other techniques I've used, the vice grips trick is the best if you have something to grab onto. If you desperately need to get this thing out, you can get a Dremel and cut a slot and then try to use a flat blade screwdriver to get them out.
Oh, nice. That's a good tip.
So let's go put this thing back on. Now I can really inspect the bushing to make sure it's not busted on the back side, but I would have felt that. All good. It is missing nuts, and I don't like that.
Nuts.
Let me bust open my box of hardware. Let's take care of that now, so we don't ever have a bushing backing out and causing problems.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness. Pin Daddy's here. Oh, here we go. Dog's barking. Stop. Thank you.
What's going on?
Pin Daddy said, Kyle, last time he had a screw snap off in a WC flipper plate and had to drill it out and retap the hole. But luckily, he had you streaming to keep him company. And that's what Kyle's good for. This stream is really fun. You learn, because Kyle is a genius when it comes to fixing these games. But also, it's kind of like a work session, right? So a lot of us in the Royal Us, are also working on our games while Kyle is teaching us how to work on games. And it's kind of just like a, yay, work session time. And sometimes he streams on the weekend and does weekend work repair and maybe streams for the 3 to 4 hours. So everyone is working on their pins together, just kind of chatting and having a good time.
Sometimes I do stream for
repairing
that
pinball.
long.
It's
It
fun.
can get obnoxious. This pile of hardware is...
No, they love it. That pile of hardware is slightly obnoxious.
Yeah, it's
Streaming
obnoxious
4
because
hours? No.
there's only one
Wow.
of the correct nuts in here. The rest of them are all not right, but I'll make do.
Doing?
It's annoying because it either has exactly what I need or it has nothing. And I hate it.
This is hilarious.
This just goes to show that I need to restock this dang kit of hardware. Okay, these will be sufficient. I'm going to tighten this down.
Yeah, you should separate your box of miscellaneous hardware by hardware type. Great
that takes up too much space.
suggestion, Chris O'Connor on Facebook. Speaking of Facebook, just like winter is coming, if you guys are on Facebook or YouTube, you should please head over to follow us on Twitch, because soon we will not be streaming on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch all at the same time. We're going to only be on Twitch, which is great because there's lots of Twitch exclusive interactivity we can bring into our stream, and we don't want y'all to miss out. So go ahead and give us a follow. It's absolutely free to start an account, and Twitch is awesome. Twitch is the future. Bye. Stand by the little ones. They're going off exploring on their own.
Come on.
Yeah, plus channel points and emotes. Can't go wrong.
And you can catch me playing pinball badly and drink beer with me on the weekends. Or on Friday after work, which I might do tomorrow.
Yeah, see, Initiative is working on DMDs right now. Catch some food for dinner. I know, right? They better bring back a big catch. I'm getting hungry after this stream.
Yeah, the only reason I don't have all my hardware separated like that is because I don't have a ton of room in my parts box I carry around.
He's still thinking about
I have one section with like number 5 and under hardware for like switches. I have one that has only sheet metal screws. I have one that has only small or playfield post sheet metal screws. And then that's just like my machine thread stuff.
Yeah, we had an episode actually where we went through all of Kyle's tools. We kind of breezed over his parts box, but if you're interested in seeing that, all of our episodes are archived on YouTube, and I think it's called Kyle's Tools.
Yeah, we couldn't come up with anything punny for that one. Or no, I think you called it the Toolbox episode with like exclamation points.
Maybe.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
The magnetic cup holder, magnetic, what do you call that?
Magnetic
Saucer?
body harness? Yeah, that's coming. I'm going to be
No, he
moving
likes the bowl,
sometime
our
soon.
magnetic bowl. If you're working on your games, you should have a magnetic bowl.
When I
below your
move, I
parts,
will
so you don't
find all
lose
my GoPro
parts.
stuff, and then
Kyle has evolved.
I will create the magnetic chest harness. And I'll blow
Yes, he's
everyone
still
out of the
working
water.
on that.
Everyone's going to be so impressed.
Oh, yep, Adam, sorry I didn't bring that up earlier. Adams is looking for pop bumper rebuilding. We have some other episodes on pop bumper rebuilds. We did a complete rebuild on roller games. That's, I believe, episode 2 on YouTube. One of those earlier episodes. And then we also did a rebuild on, was it Fire, Kyle?
On Time Warp.
Time Warp.
I know we did one on Time Warp. And Time
upper
Warp will
20s.
have better camera quality, but yeah. It's not fun. And I have to do all 3 of these dang ones in this game, so. It is just the worst, most, you have to take everything apart to do the most common, easy thing. Bally and Data East did it nicely, where you just had to take the cap off, disconnect the electronics, and then you could drop the whole assembly out from the bottom. But it had such a massive footprint that, and it was expensive. They just stopped doing it that way. Cool. Yeah, this end of stroke switch is going to get replaced, so I am actually not going to put the rest of this stuff on. I mean, unless I could just solder it in right now. It really wouldn't take much time.
Sure. Can you adjust the Sony as well when you get there? I think just kind of toggle it, zoom in and out, because the focus is just acting all crazy and muddy today.
Man, yeah, maybe it's because of the light.
Oh, thanks for the link, Pin Daddy, to Kyle's tools.
Oh, thank you.
Kyle's Pinball Tools.
Yeah, that episode was pretty fun. If anyone is interested in going over the parts box, I'd like to go over that in a little more detail sometime. But I think the difference is
Fire has no pop bumpers. Dang.
What? What's up?
Daniel called me out. Fire has no pop bumpers.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't Fire.
Games without pop bumpers are sad.
Hardbody doesn't have any pop bumpers.
I know, but it's not. That's one game that isn't sad.
It doesn't need pop bumpers.
Here's a semi-annoying thing about the modern games, or more modern games, right? Like post 1995 or so. I'll use the small camera to show it actually.
Yeah.
The service outlet, and I think this was just because of games internationally, right? It was much easier for Williams to use a IEC socket that you would use a dongle, which would come with every single game, to be able to use the power outlet. But these things disappear very fast. Most operators would take them, right, and put them in their parts or something. So I was just about to plug my soldering iron in, and I forgot I had to grab my dongle. So if you have a modern or a more modern Williams game, if you don't have one of those, it's very handy. We sell them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I forgot what the part number is, but you need it if you're going to use the service outlet. If I wasn't lazy, I could have just bent over and plugged it into the floor, but you know, 2 trips to the parts box is way more fun. Okay. Yeah, the parts box was pretty cool, but since I'm like a mobile service tech for the most part, like the stuff I keep in there is just weird and all over the place. If you just have a couple games at home, you're not going to need to stock nearly as much, or have that weird span of stuff. So remember, since the end of stroke switch is normally open, can you put the Sony cam on? Since the end of stroke switch is normally open, you have to make sure that the long blade is facing the flipper itself, so the flipper actuator can touch it and close it. This camera's being mean today.
It's weird, right?
Since the actuator lives here, and when the flipper rotates, it goes like that, when you mount the switch, you need to make sure the long blade is facing closer to the flipper. Sorry, let me move my hands.
Got you. Okay.
So that's kind of like the orientation Emoto was mentioning a little while ago. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get the hardware. This is that kind of like flat nut plate that I was talking about too. These are handy to keep around if you have multiple WPC games, or if you buy them, because a lot of times they're missing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the the switch, and then I'm going to solder it in after that. That actually might not be the easiest way to do it because it's all the way back there. Can I solder it like this? Ooh, I can if I'm careful. Okay, change of plans.
Yeah, what do you suggest is the good gap thickness for the EOS S switch?
It doesn't matter on this game. On these games, you just have to make sure that it shuts when the flipper is at stroke. It doesn't matter. The gap isn't important like it is on a mechanical flipper, where it needs to break the contacts to switch to the high resistance side of the coil. So on those kinds of games, if you had the end of stroke switch adjusted to open too early, you would lose a lot of power. If you had it adjusted to open too late or not at all, you would burn your coil up. On this game, it's just sending a signal to the computer that says, hey, I closed. So it doesn't matter so much. Does that make sense?
And yes, it does. And Vernicius, we do sell the flipper base plates and screws. Depending on what your game is, we have various different ones, right, Kyle?
Yes.
Is Kyle a southpaw? You're not left-handed, are you?
No, that was very awkward trying to do that left-handed.
APB was like, wait a minute.
But for the camera, so I'm not doing this.
Yeah, ATP, always take pictures when you're doing your repair work, before and after pictures where your wiring is. Kyle is professional and he has a photographic memory, so he doesn't take pictures. But if you weren't Kyle, you should be taking pictures.
I am
Right?
I am an amateur and I have the worst memory of any human.
So he should be taking pictures, but he's not. Because we're taking video and it's 30 pictures per second.
No, I've been doing this for a long time, so I don't need pictures
Yeah,
of a
we
lot
sell
of this
all
stuff.
the screws. We also have a screws assortment pack of like different screws and fasteners. I put in the little wheel over here.
Yeah, you want that.
So if you're not really sure what screws you need, or you know you're going to need them at some point, they have just a giant assortment. We do quite a few different assortment packs, bulk assortment packs. So we have that for rubbers as well. You know, just random oddball rubbers that you might want to replace.
If you do want to start working on your games more, or you want to be prepared to start taking your games apart, I can't recommend having a bulk screw assortment thing to start you off. Because it's going to have the basics.
It's more organized than Kyle's assortment mound.
You know. Yes, it does. But the thing is, you'll start to learn and you'll be like, oh man, I use a ton of 632 by 3/8 screws. I better order more of those on my next Marco order. You'll start to learn what is important and what you need versus what isn't necessary.
Oh no, winter is coming. Are you in Australia?
Yeah, it's not winter anymore.
I got
It's
some
almost
bad
summer.
news for you. Well, so our free domestic shipping for orders over $99 is unfortunately exactly what that is, and does not work for our international customers. However, we do have a promo for our international customers. Oh, no joking, Texas. Well, geez. For all our other international people, I do have a free hack campaign. So, because we can't do the free shipping, it's just the logistics don't work out. But if you are ordering internationally, so for orders over $99, there's a free hack code. And if you didn't get the newsletter that tells you what that free hack code is, then you can send me an email to marcotv@marcopinball.com and I will reveal it to you.
Nice.
It's going on until next week. So
I do think 1 week we need to do an international shipping promo. And be like,
yes, there's lots of very difficult logistics behind that, but we will get something great for you guys.
for the the 4 or 5 of y'all that listen and watch from Europe, Australia, the UK, that would be fun.
And then also, yeah, so that Pin Buddy, the cup holder for your pinball games, great gift idea. The metallic bowl, I believe, is what you're looking for, that Kyle is using to hold all his nuts.
Yeah, the magnetic bowl.
I believe it's under bowl. I'll throw it in there, maybe. I did have a problem with this.
Ooh. Okay, that's better.
It's a bowl. It's kind of a cup, but also a bowl. There's the magnetic bowl right there for you.
Get this nice and tight.
Sending you 1 million points. This guy.
I should have just installed it the wrong way because I could have used the other screwdriver, but oh well. And I just realized that I think I did install this one the wrong way. I drove the screws in through this side, but It takes 1 second to take the coil out. It's not that big of a deal.
Oh no.
Okay, we
weren't
have
watching Kyle and
flippers that can kind of go back together now. So let me get this one to the same state the others were in, and then we can move on to checking out that slingshot if we have time.
Oh yeah, let me get that screw pack assortment for you because I have it right.
What's
here.
up?
The assortment of screw packs that I have in my little wheel over here. I will post that link.
I didn't like that. Kind of get this guy in like that.
77-fast-1.
All right. You know what's going to be real funny is when I try to go tighten this down and then the screw breaks or it strips out or something like that, and then that whole thing was just a waste of time. And that's when I'll say, I should have listened to myself. Since I have my random assortment of hardware here, I'm going to grab another one of the coil stop cap head screws. I'm going to do this. Sorry, I'm blocking the camera, but this is kind of an awkward angle. This lamp PCB is like so close to this flipper that I just dropped my screw. Good job. So yeah, flippers. Flippers are important, and we've covered kind of like every single flipper now. What we didn't cover in this video, we did cover in like doing the roller games one, where we made sure that we gapped the flipper free play, etc. well. But I'm excited to tear this game apart and clean it. I'm not going to go crazy on it. We're not going for like, you know, super best in show, perfect pinball machine level of clean. We're just going for really dang nice and a joy to look at. So that's kind of the level I like to bring games back to. They kind of turn less fun to play when they're way too shiny and you don't want to mar them or scratch them or anything like that. And that takes the fun out of pinball sometimes, right? Don't you want to play these things?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, okay. Berg Bookie, thanks for the pro tip. That's one of my favorite tips. Pro tip, Kyle Hack, about changing, swapping the coil stop so it's opposite, or changing the coil so it's opposite of the coil stop.
Yeah, always.
You'll get less vibration.
These games, they came that way. Older games, some of the older games, they were opposite. I don't know when the changeover happened. But if you are doing this job and it's a new game to you, I mean, spend the extra couple minutes and just extend the harness. Get some, what's it called? Heat shrink tube, a little bit of 18 gauge wire, and just make it a little bit longer. So that gives you the ability to move them. We should have a lot of these colors of wire in stock now too. They're not exactly a match, but the yellow-violet color scheme, orange-violet, red-violet color scheme exists. So you should be able to get some decently matching wire now. So yeah, so we've got 3 flippers that are kind of ready to go. We need to install the bats from the top after we tear the game down and clean it. But one thing I noticed here, and this is really common, is we had a broken slingshot link. And let me show you, we might not have enough time to do this because I kind of want to sit down and answer questions if anybody has a question.
Yes.
But, where is it? Brings, link. Okay. Hey, let's switch to the small camera.
All right.
Do more bench stuff. And actually,
look at that pile of chaos.
It's beautiful chaos.
It is kind of beautiful.
I'm going to move this camera back so it's just like me sitting at the bench sort of thing. I'll zoom in because Emoto likes seeing my face. Okay, back to work. What happens a lot of time with slingshots, especially in really beat games like this, Ah, I got pliers in my pants. There they come.
Ooh, yeah, Magic Ditto.
The links on these guys like to break. This is the
blue.
plunger. Oh, geez. There's so much stuff on here. This is the plunger I yanked out of the game that has the very broken link. This is what it should look like. So the slingshot was just kind of hanging there. You've got a couple options. I think this whole thing by itself is $4 or $5. It's under $6. Or if you wanted to try and fix this, right, without just replacing the piece, you can purchase a link. These are available. I bought a couple of them because there's a few things in here that could be broken. You can just get a link and you can pound the old roll pin out and pound a new link in. And again, this kind of comes down to the time is money thing. So if you want to do this, great. If you don't mind spending like just $5, then you can have a new one of these and just get on with your life. Doing it this way though does require a couple special tools. You do need a set of roll pin punches and a hammer. Most people have hammers, but most people don't have roll pin punches. This is a set of punches that, it is just a punch, but it has a small like nipple at the end that helps keep a roll pin centered. A roll pin is a piece of steel that is
Can you tilt down a little bit?
What's up?
Can you tilt down a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a roll pin. It is a piece of metal that is rolled into a pin. And these are what are inserted into plungers to keep things in place. So they are removable. This setup is not ideal here for me to do this, but I'm going to try to do it on top of this flipper base. So again, remember we need a place for the the pin to come out the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the correct roll pin punch. It's not 3/32. I think this one is an 1/8. What this does is this punch, it has that nipple on the end, if that kind of comes through. Yeah. What that does is it fits into the, this is just rolled steel. It fits in here and keeps itself centered to drive it straight. Roll pin punches are very, 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 very handy. But in this day and age, with this stuff being so, relatively inexpensive, setting up the tooling and the jig to do it kind of defeats the purpose of just buying a new one. Because that's what's going to happen the whole time. This is not ideal. On a proper workbench, I would have a spot where I'd be able to do this. I might not be even able to get this to come out, but we're going to try. It's going to want to roll. A lot of times I'll do this in a vise with like a cloth. Yeah, I don't feel like doing this anymore, and we've only been doing it for about 45 seconds. So just buy a new one. Thing wants to roll. It doesn't want to move because it's very happy being inside this plunger for the last 30 years. Let's see. I'll give it one more shot. Okay, I give up. In a better workshop, we'd have the ability to do this. Right now, I'm not. So I'll keep this. Actually, no, it's ugly. This thing's just going to go get recycled, along with that other broken plunger. But these are handy to have around. It's not. I would recommend doing this at certain times, but in this instance, let's just replace it. But that's a roll pin punch, and that's how I failed doing it on camera.
Yeah, everyone's like, just buy the part.
Just buy the part. It doesn't take that much more time. It's not that much more expensive. It is, again though, you should have a set of roll pin punches because that is, they are handy. And you will be able to fix certain things without necessitating having a part around possibly. So anyways, I can throw this inside the slingshot now. How about we do a Q&A while I fix the slingshot?
Sounds great. So Q&A for those who are new to our channel. If you have any type of questions for Kyle related to your pinball machines or other, now is the time to ask him.
Yeah. It's
Let's see.
free advice. While we wait for those to roll in, I'm just yanking the slingshot
Personal
bracket
problems.
off.
Yeah, if you want to give your personal problems on the stream, man. Winter is coming. Send me an email to marcotv@marcopinball.com. Since you are a new audience member, I would love to share that code with you, but it is a international customers code. So we got to make sure it works for your cart since you are in Texas, and you know you can only use one code. You really want a hat, I understand. You don't want to use a free shipping code. You want a free hat. This guy. We'll see what we can do. But you got to shoot me an email first so we get. Oh, what happened, Kyle?
Broken.
Hmm.
This used to go here. And now it doesn't.
All right, here's some questions. We'll start with Turin. What's the best way to cut a flipper off that is glued together? Ooh, drill out screws or saw shaft? Oh no.
Best way to cut a flipper apart that is glued together. I guess it depends on the way that it's glued together and where it's actually broken. I'd need to see what you're talking about. If you can, bolt cutters is always the answer. Bolt cutters are very easy and very fast at cutting through a 1/4-inch steel shaft. So. I've had to do that once in a while. I've had to do that a few times actually. It's not fun. It's always fun to get the bolt cutters out. There's always a good time when the bolt cutters are being used.
Oh no, Pin Daddy, your package is sitting in customs? I hope not.
That's no fun.
Oh no. We just got held a message reason.
A what?
The auto mod held a message.
Why would the auto mod do such a thing?
Is that the message that it held? Is that what it is? No, surely not. I will allow this message. The message was, do you know the size of the nut and screws for the EOS switch to plate? Switch plate.
That's what it held?
Apparently that was too risque.
I think they're number 6 like sheet metal screws, but I don't know the part number off the top of my head. If you look up, just open your manual, it'll be in there. If I had a manual sitting in front of, I've got one in my Twilight Zone. If the questions stay slow, I'll go grab one for you. But we definitely have them. I just don't know it off the top of my head. This is gross. Let's clean it up.
Magic Ditto asked, sorry guys, I'm behind. In a Williams EM that uses slings and pops, any idea why they are still spongy after replacing the bridge rectifier and cap?
Are those the only things that are spongy? Because, have you rule out the mechanical problems first, right? Jump in there and make sure, like what I'm about to do right now. See if the whatchamacallits, wow, my brain is not working. The coil sleeves on this thing are just horrendous. So I'm going to replace the coil sleeves, and that could bring back some life. As remember, flipper plungers will mushroom, but so will pop bumper and slingshot plungers as well. So if they get that mushroomed over edge on the plunger, they will drag, and that will make them seem mushy.
Nice.
This one wasn't, but your Aztec, I think, is many decades older than this game is. So
Beautiful Aztec. Get that. I still haven't gotten mine. I'm lazy. Bat out of hell. Remind me how I can get one of those bitchin' Marco button-ups. Oh, well, you gotta work for the man to get one of these bad boys. Sorry. We do have some great shirts. A lot of our designs are by Dirty Donnie, or we have like the Marco Playfield shirts from Free Gold Watch, like what Kyle's. Wait, are you?
this one isn't. I'm not wearing a Marco shirt today, but
Fired. Kyle's fired. Sorry, guys. We're gonna need a new PinTech host.
PinTech's over.
Berg Bookie, how does Marco keep sending me packages to Pittsburgh from South Carolina in 1 to 2 days when the rest of the USPS sucks? Do you guys pay off the USPS to get my deliveries super fast? Yes.
Yeah, man, just for you.
Yes, we do. And that's why our shipping costs what it costs. And that's why we offer you, all you awesome people a little incentive, free shipping. Load up your cart. Get free shipping today. It's an easy $9-10 off your order. Domestic.
Yeah, that is one of. I mean, you know, our shipping costs what it costs because we generally are able to get your package into a box and shipped the same day you place the order. We appreciate you.
We have an awesome fulfillment team and team in general, and they work really hard to get you guys your pinball parts as fast as possible.
Except for me, who sits here and fixes pinball machines.
He makes the parts. So Kyle does a great job on engineering new parts and helping source parts for us. So
that's the fun part.
Everyone serves their purpose. Let's see. Bolt cutter solves so many issues. Yep. Tool of persuasion, indeed.
Yes, the hammers and bolt cutters are the tools of persuasion.
Ooh,
we have
Jackrabbit's looking for a goalie for Striker Extreme.
Ooh, good luck. I could have sworn we maybe had those. I'm probably wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just soldering a wire on right now. Sorry.
Indie pins. We need Marco Pinball COVID masks. We sell the masks on our site. I believe they're $4.99. Midge, if you're still here, and you could put a link to that. Pin Daddy, I know we sent it. Pin Daddy, you should send us an email and we can look that up. Shoot me an email, marcotv@marcopinball.com, and let's figure out where your mask is. Bat out of hell, where do I send my resume? Well, dang.
To Kyle@marcopinball.com. No.
That'll work. Project Pinball Charity. What Aztec? Forgot you were still watching. Just kidding. Can you use the service outlet without the dongle?
Not on these games.
Mm.
You have to have the dongle on these newer games.
Magic Ditto said, yeah, for the Aztec. Follow-up question. Why is the 2 coins for 3 plays adjustment the most obnoxious in pinball setup?
Because back in the day, man, pinball was still cheap. It was a big deal it was a big deal every time pinball changed price. When pinball went from being 1 dime for a game to trying to be 1/4 per game, that was a massive deal, right? In the late 80s, when they tried to make it 50 cents a game, that was a big deal. So we have to deal with some of these issues when pricing electromechanical games. I've seen different ways that people cleverly wire old EMs to run on like modern higher currency, like 50 cents for a game. It's pretty fun to watch how clever people are.
Yeah, for sure. Vinicius, thank you for the sub. And all you guys are saying such nice things about our shipping.
Hey, thanks.
And we appreciate.
Usually we don't hear nice things about our shipping.
We will tell our shipping team all about how happy y'all are. And they will continue to work hard to service you. Because pinball is important to us. We want to keep pinball alive. want to keep spreading pinball to everywhere. Everyone needs to have pinball, right, Kyle?
I love spreading
In
pinball.
their lives.
I was just about to say, just make your EM cost 25 cents. It's easy that way. And more people will play it and appreciate it and enjoy it when it costs less. All of my EMs are always 25 cents when I put them into arcades. Just because, why not?
Oh,
okay, that goes like that. This goes like this.
We're just like staring at Kyle's back over here. Anyone
nice?
have any more questions for Kyle? We're about 2 hours in.
Really? Oh my gosh. Feels like we just started.
Kyle needs to go back to work.
I'm not going back to work. It's 5 o'clock. I'm going home.
Oh, we got a shout out for Kelly at customer service. I will let her know that. That's awesome.
Heck yeah. Kelly's the greatest.
Yeah.
Kelly came into our this building today, and she tore down the entire Data East Simpsons playfield without any instruction. It was wonderful.
Oh my gosh.
She just came in, took it apart, and I was happy as a clam. And yeah.
Oh, Tilt Oslo. What's up? I haven't seen your name in a little bit. Tilt also asked, could you compare the old flipper base plate to a new one? Differences?
We did a little bit in the beginning.
Compositional differences? He goes, I think the new ones are of ... like the type of metal.
I'm not sure what they're made of, but I know they're slightly different. I'm not. If
Kyle,
I'm streaming on Saturday, I hope you're there,
number?
Per. You can ask me then.
Oh, geez. We're going to have to put this on a mature channel. Kyle, what's the part number for your belt? The chat wants to know.
For my what?
For your belt.
Dude, this is like
They're all thanking you for the lack of plumber crack. Pinball plumber crack. It's a plague.
My grandpappy told me. Well, no, he was a German man. So my Opa told me, you can't trust a man without a belt. So I just always wore a belt, and we eliminate the possibility of plumber crack at all times.
That's pretty fun advice, actually.
It's great advice.
Think about that a lot.
That's how I base every interaction with everybody.
Now every time I see a guy, I'm gonna look to see if they have a belt on, and that might be weird.
The thing you got to realize about Germans is they're hyper superstitious. It's really, it's really weird. So there are things to the Germans where it's like, if he's not wearing a belt, that guy, he must be insane. He's not doing things right. So, anyone's ever been to Germany or has German grandparents, they might be able to attest.
Scroado asked, can you do a WPC thermistor replacement video? What's a thermistor?
I've never done that on the show, and there's really no reason to do it unless it's actually bad. But I mean, I'd like to show that on camera at some point. That's a weird fun job. The thermistor's inside the power box, but
yeah, Burge Bookie said they had their first thermistor failure for a customer a couple months ago after a power surge incident.
Yeah.
What's a thermistor? I don't know. I can't follow. I'm still learning.
A thermistor is kind of like a fuse, but it isn't. It's like a fuse before a fuse. So that's the thing. Actually, no, we were talking about that. You can switch to the other camera so I don't look like a crazy neck monster.
I like.
We switched to. We were talking about the thermistor on your hard body. The thermistor may have been going bad on your hard body, which was causing it to not want to. That would cause it to reboot, possibly. But yeah, it's kind of like a fuse before the fuse. It's a fuse that explodes, and it's soldered to the AC input from the plug on the wall. So. Yeah, I've seen them go bad before. It's not common, but it's nice that they're there. So.
All right, let's see your hands. Nice and dirty. It's a good show.
Hella dirty. This is what we go through to have fun with pinball.
Awesome. So, well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Every Thursday. Oh, wait. Every Thursday, except Thanksgiving, which is coming up soon. You know, we're about a month away from Thanksgiving, and we will not be streaming on Thanksgiving Day, but we have decided that we will stream on Friday. So Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern is Black Friday. Hopefully you have off work too, and then you guys could just come kick it with us while hopefully at that point we are cleaning up Indy500 and it's ready to take its first plunge and to be played and to be given back to its owner.
Hopefully.
Kyle's like, don't say that.
Yeah, don't say that.
I believe in you.
You're gonna jinx me.
No, gobble, 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 gicky.
Yeah. Thanksgiving,
Oh,
I would
I
love
like
to
that.
stream on Thanksgiving, but I feel like, we'll give it a break. We'll go, I'll spend some time with my wife and make some dinner, and we'll do pinball the next day.
Yay. Hado J is excited to work on their games. Everyone excited to work on their games. And you know what? I didn't have a trivia question for y'all. So no giveaways.
No giveaway,
Oh.
oh no.
Name the...
I'm excited to work on my
Only
games too.
pinball.
I was here last week and my customer came and picked up the Bride of Pinbot that I was working on forever
Work.
for him.
All right.
What?
Midge gave me a trivia question, and I don't think anyone's going to get it.
Well, ask. I might get it.
You don't even like our hats. Okay. So for a hat, we're going to do one question to end the stream. And the question is, this is for a Marco hat. So the first person to guess it right wins. First person in the chat. Sorry if you're dealing with lag. That reminds me, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you have a disadvantage because it goes through stream faster. It goes through Twitch faster than it does Facebook and YouTube. Another reason why you should head over to Twitch, get a free account, and join us here, because soon we're not going to be streaming onto Facebook and YouTube anymore, and then you'll miss us, and we'll miss you.
We'll miss you.
The answer is Rocky Horror. No. Yeah, lag is evil. All right, so the question is, name the only pinball machine to appear on the TV show Home Improvement.
Wow. I don't know that one.
Oh,
Can I stream Home Improvement anywhere? Is it online
goodness.
somewhere?
yeah. They made a new Home Improvement, too. Someone said Adams. No, that was afterwards. That would have been the answer. No Good Gophers. Nope. Oklahoma. Nope. Diamond Lady. Nope. Nip It. No. Ooh, that would be good.
Nip It? That
I
was
have
Happy
it.
Days, right?
Yeah. See, Midge, I was like, there's no way. Spy Hunter. No. And Avengers Infinity Quest. Yeah. Baywatch. Pamela. No.
Hey, you never know. There might be a crazy Home Improvement fan watching right now.
Oh, Berg Bookie for the Google search. I'm just kidding. Pinball by Stern. Yay.
Hey,
Good
good work.
job. All right. Am I saying it right? Berg Bookie, or is it Burge Bookie? It was great seeing you in the chat today.
Burge.
Shoot me an email to marcotv@marcopinball.com with your address, and we'll send you a hat. And for everyone else, I'm going to leave you with this. We are going to leave you with this. PinTech homework. Let's do it again. This will be for a Marco Pinball hat. If next week you can show us that you have submitted to ipdb.org, the Internet Pinball Database, they always need help on getting updated photos. So nice high-res photos with your smartphone. Can you see my smartphone? Nice high-res photos with your smartphone. Submit it to the Internet Internet Pinball Database. Take a screenshot and send it to me at marcotv@marcopinball.com. We'll verify it and we'll send you a hat.
Yes.
Maybe we'll send you a Marco mask too.
Please do that.
Submissions to ipdb.org.
Yeah, it's
See what
easy to
games you
find it
have.
on their website. And the staff there, specifically Jay, who you'll probably be dealing with, is a a treasure to the pinball community. That guy does a ton of hard work to keep that website up. And we should always be updating it. It can be better.
Yeah. And even if you go to a game that you have and you see pictures there already, don't discount that. Like, a lot of those pictures have been submitted several years ago and are like 640 by 480,
Not
or
even
maybe
several.
even smaller,
Yeah, like a
so when you
decade
try to
ago.
blow them up to look at the wiring, it's like really hard to see. So your smartphone takes beautiful photos. Everyone's does now. We have technology at our fingertips. So let's all do our part and
Help 'em out.
add to this database. And then, we will thank you by sending you some cool swag.
I'm going to take pictures of this once I have the bottom of the playfield button back up. At least
Yeah,
have
they need
pictures of the
manuals and
playfield.
schematics too. If anyone wants to scan a manual and schematic or a schematic to put on there, that counts, right?
Everything but Gottlieb, and you need to have. I think they have permission from the Williams license holder to have their schematics up there. So some games have them, some games don't, and it's all legal issues. I think all the old Bally stuff is up there, but ask Jay at ipdb.org, and he will let you know what he can and cannot have. So it's such a great resource. I have donated to them times and times again, just because it's such a commonly used thing in my everyday week to week.
Yeah. ipdb.org and PinWiki are like the two most amazing pinball sites out there.
Yeah, PinWiki's great. And
Besides
here's another
micropinball.
giveaway. If someone writes me a sweet love letter, I will throw this super effed up flipper crank into your next order, and I'll sign it. Great, right? Emoto's like, ugh.
Email him at kyle@marcopinball.com. Wait, how did Kyle get you have a witch's hat? Dang.
Wait, what?
For Gottlieb manual, you have to have a license. I see.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Well, thanks, everyone. And now for our Twitch friends, everyone in the Twitch audience, we're going to go raid somebody. So grab your drinks and let's see who we want to raid.
Winter is Coming has a sexy girl. That's crazy.
Oh, wow. That's a rare game. Museum of Pinball has a sexy girl.
It's such a
cool.
it's such a wacky game.
It's funny. That's the one that has the video display in it?
No, wait, no. Sexy Girl, I think Sexy Girl's the one that had the photo switching thing underneath.
Oh, okay. I say video display, but yeah, it was probably like a photo rotation thing before it's time. Okay, so Chrome Candy Pinball, Top Rope Pinball. What do you guys think? Where do you guys want to go to? Oh, Mystery Pinball Theater 3000 is
That
playing.
would be fun. Oh, look, you can see my forehead in that camera.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm looking at the chat now.
Yeah, we're gonna stream. We're gonna go raid Mystery Pinball Theater 3000. If you guys haven't seen his stream, he is one of the most interactive pinball streams. He'll jump in and out of watching little movie clips, and he has awesome call outs and things flying all over the screen. I one day hope to be able to be as good as Manu at this live streaming thing. So
Yeah, he's
we're
incredible.
gonna go watch him.
And a
do
gigantic
his
sweetheart
magic.
too.
And they're in San Francisco.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining. It's always really fun hanging out with y'all.
Did I do that right? Yep. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Thank you, everyone. See you next charity stream is going on.
Bye. I might stream Saturday. If you guys are bored, want to hang out while I'm bored, thanks. Bye.
Thank you, guys. See you next week. Yay. Yay. Where's my splash screen?